Hi everyone. Last week we had a look at Google Docs and we worked on typing out some sentences and using the formatting in Google Docs. This week we're going to have a look at Google Sheets. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is go to google.co.uk and you're going to need to sign into your account. Now when you click the sign in button, it might have your account from last week. So if it's there, you would click that. Now, for those people where it doesn't happen like that, I'm just going to remove it, so you don't need to do. You just put in your username. And then after your username, the @syssit.com, your email address. So your usernames may be your initials and 4 letters, or it may be an initial and name like that. So we'll click next. And then on this one, you put your password in. And click next if you need to. Click the I there and just have a quick check of your password to make sure it's all correct. So then this brings us back into Google, but now we're signed in. You should have your initial in the top corner there. So before we go any further, everybody needs to get themselves logged into their Google account. So pause the video, get yourself logged in, then come back. Once you've done that, we're going to go up to this corner next to your initial. I'm going to go on this grid of dots here for Google Apps. And then we're looking for this green icon here, Sheets. So click on Sheets. Once this loads up, we're going to go to Start a New Spreadsheet and we want a blank spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet we're going to do is for someone who owns a sandwich shop who needs to have a look at how much money they're making or losing when they're selling their sandwiches. So we're going to go up to this corner where it says Untitled Spreadsheet, click in there. Now whilst it's highlighted like that, leave it alone, don't need to delete it. We're just going to put in our title. So sandwich shop there, and then just click somewhere down here. So again, pause the video, bring up Google Sheets, a new blank sheet, put your title sandwich shop at the top, then come back when you've done that. So the first thing that we need to do then is get our column heading. So if you remember from when we've done spreadsheets before, the ones going up and down are called columns, just like columns in a big room that hold the ceiling up. And the ones going across are rows, like we would sit in rows in a cinema. So we're going to go now into cell A1 and we're going to type in sandwich. Then we're going to put cost to make. I'm just going to, you may need to do this yourself, I'm going to zoom in. It just makes it a little bit easier for everybody to see. So 200% might be a little bit much depending on what sort of screen you're on, but if you're struggling to see, just zoom in maybe 125, 150 and just see how it works on your machine. So we've got our sandwich there, cost to make, then we're going to put selling price. I'm going to move over to cell D1, okay, and we're going to put in profit. And then we're going to go to, we want to put in here number sold today, but we want to try and keep them small enough to fit in here so we don't have to do any resizing. So we're just going to put hashtag, which means number sold today. And then finally in cell F1, today's profit. Again now, pause the video, get all of those typed in and then come back again. So now we're going to come up with 10 sandwiches. Now we've got our rows on this side, which means we need to go down to row 11 because our titles are taking up one row. So if we're going to have 10, 11 is where we need to go down to. So we're going to type in the names of some sandwiches. Doesn't really matter which ones we put in, but we just need to keep it simple and we're not spending lots and lots of time thinking about this. So let's start off with cheese, then cheese and pickle. If you can't find that symbol, the ampersand symbol on your keyboard, just type the word and, that's fine. Or just type cheese, pickle, that's fine. So cheese and ham, cheese and onion, cheese and tomato. Notice that that one's hanging over a little bit there. That's fine. We'll worry about it later. So, taken through a lot of our alternatives with those. So let's now go to ham and tomato. Then let's have chicken and tomato. And I've made a mistake there. Now, if you make a mistake, don't delete everything. Just highlight where the mistake is and type over the top of it. We'll have chicken, then a comma and a space, bacon, and lettuce. Again, that's going way into this one. Don't worry about it. So we need two more now. So let's then go for a cheese salad and a turkey salad. So we've got our 10 sandwiches. Right, so what we need to do now, at the top where the letters are for each column, we're going to go in between the rows. If you see there, look, as I go, not that one with the pointer on, I'll go there, you get this double-headed arrow. And what you're going to do then is just drag that so that these are all fitting in there. At this point now, pause the video, put in your 10 sandwiches. Your teacher might tell you that you need to copy those out. Your teacher might tell you to make your own up. If you're making your own up, don't spend ages thinking about it. It's just, it could be, you know, chicken and pickle, chicken and ham, chicken and onion, and something like that. Okay, so just pick those and get those 10 typed out. Pause the video, do that, come back once you've done it. Now, before we go any further with our spreadsheet, we're going to have a look at the idea of profit and loss. Imagine that you bought some ingredients and those ingredients allowed you to make 10 cakes. So if your ingredients and also the cost of electricity for making the cakes altogether, so that came to £2.50. For the cost of that £2.50, you have made 10 cakes. So we can then say the cost per cake is, let's put that pound sign back in, £2.50 divided by 10. So that means then that the cost to make each cake is going to be 25 pence or 0.25 pounds. So let's keep it simple, 25 pence for each one of those. Now if you decide to sell these, you've got to sell that cake for at least 25 pence. So let's imagine that you decide to sell it for 30 pence. So let's put that in. So that's how much you're selling that cake for. So it's 30 pence. Now to work out our profit, we've got to then do the 30p and we've got to take away what we've already spent to make it. That then equals 5 pence in profit. So we know that we're getting the cost of our ingredients back and we're making a little bit of money as well. Let's say though that for this cake, you decided to sell this one for 10 pence. So let's try and work out the profit this time then. Yeah, so this time we've got 10p and we've got to take away what it cost to make this cake, which was 25p, which means then we've got a profit of minus 15 pence. So if you imagine if you kept on doing this, you spend £2.50. When you've sold all 10 cakes, you're actually minus £1.50 in the red, as we say. So you've lost minus £1.50. If you do it again tomorrow, you've lost another £1.50. Tomorrow, day after, another £1.50. So you can't stay in business. On this one, although we're not making a big profit, when you sell all 10 of those cakes, you make 50p. So the important thing about trying to make a profit when you sell things, your selling price has always got to be higher than your cost. Back to our spreadsheet, and what we're going to do now is put in the cost to make each of these sandwiches. Before we do that, we're going to format these cells so that they show us money rather than just plain numbers. Because if I put in 1.50 for £1.50, the computer will display it as 1.5, which can be a little bit confusing when we're trying to work with money. So what I want everybody to do first, we're going to go in the middle of this cell. So you can see the edges of the cell there. We don't want to be near the edges, we want to be in the middle. We also need to be clicked somewhere else first. So I'm going to click over here. I'm going to go back up to this cell, B2. And what we're going to do is click and drag. We're not going to let go. So we're going to click. I'm still holding down that left mouse button and we scroll down. Then we let go. So it's all highlighted with a slightly different box at the top. So we leave that alone. What we want to do now, although there are shortcuts on here, just so that we're all on exactly the same thing, we're going to go into Format. We're then going to go down to Number. So Format, Number. And then here, if you've got currency and it's showing a pound sign, you can use that one. If it's showing dollars, then we need to go down to More Formats, More Currencies. And then we want this one, British Pound Sterling. So let's click on that one and we'll see our pound sign there and we click Apply. Now there's nothing there at the moment, that's fine. Let's click somewhere else. Let's go into here and now we're going to start putting in our costs. So we're going to say that our cheese sandwich is fairly cheap to make, so it's maybe 1.00, so it's just £1. Then use your down arrows or enter to come down there. And notice, because we formatted it before, now it's putting that pound sign in for us, so we don't need to put that in. So let's put £1.25 for this one, put £1.50 for this one, and then we'll go back to £1.25. Let's stop there, pause the video, and let's format those cells. So if you remember what we did, we click and don't let go, and we highlight. We're then going to go to Format, Number. If you can see the currency and it says pounds, use that one. If not, you might need to go to More Formats, More Currencies, and we're looking for British Pound Sterling. So do that, get your first 4 numbers in, and then come back. Pause the video, go and do that now. So once you've got your 4 in there and we've got our prices on, let's go to then the cheese and tomato one. So we'll say £1.25 for that, so just 1.25. Now we might say the ham and tomato one costs a little bit more to make. I'll go £1.50 on that one. The chicken and tomato also £1.50. Now this has got 3 ingredients in it, so we're going to say £2. So 2.00. Cheese salad might be, it's a little bit cheaper than that. Let's go £1.75, and let's go £2 for our turkey salad there. So again now, pause the video, put your prices in. Now it doesn't matter if you don't get the exact same numbers here, but keep them between £1.25 and £2. And think a little bit about the ingredients. So when you've got 3 ingredients there, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than something that's just got 1 simple ingredient. So get those typed in and then come back. So our next stage is now we need to have our selling price. Now, as we looked earlier, if it's costing us £1 to make that cheese sandwich, and in a real business, it's not always just the cheese and the bread. It's also the electricity for your lights. It's maybe the rent for the shop, the rates, paying your staff, all sorts of things. So you've got to calculate all of this very carefully. But overall, we're saying £1. We have got to sell that for more than £1. So let's say that we're going to sell that then for 2.00, so £2. We notice again now, look, that formatting's gone back. So we're going to click and drag down without letting go. We're going to go to format, going to go to number. Now hopefully, if we had to use that before, British pound sterling is down here. It might still be there if you used that before. If not, we've got to go on the more formats. So let's bring that one up. So now that goes to £2. We can just click once in the next box, and then we're going to work with any of these. So I'm going to say £2.25 for that one. I'm going to say £2 for this one as well, because we want to try and keep our prices fairly simple here. So let's go £2 for that, £2 for that. Now this is a bit more expensive, so we're going to say £2.50. Same with this one. So this one we might say £3. So I have £2.50 for that one and £2.50 for that one. So again now, pause the video, put in your selling prices. So your selling price has got to be higher than the cost to make, and I would say keep them somewhere between £2 and £3. So do those and then come back again. Once we've got our cost to make and our selling price, now we need to work out what the profit is. So we click in here. Remember what we said before, we've always got to try to make money when we sell things, otherwise we can't stay in business. So work out the answer in your head first. If it costs £1 to make it and we sell it for £2, then we're going to make £1 in profit. So it's £2 take away £1. So we press equals to start our formula. We put our mouse on the £2 and click. Then we press minus, take away, subtract, whichever you want to call it, and then we click on the other one. So we've got in here equals C2 minus B2. Press enter. Now the computer tries to help by saying this suggested autofill. We're not going to use that. We're going to press the X and we're going to ignore it. If you always let the computer do things for you, then you don't know how to do it yourself, and at the time then when the computer won't do it for you, you don't know what to do. So what we're going to do now, we're going to click back up there. We're going to go to this bottom right hand corner and see this little dot here. This is called a replicator. So we're going to go onto that, see that black arrow, and we're going to then drag down, and then what it does, it doesn't copy that formula, because that first formula there is C2 minus B2, and then the next one is C3 minus B3. So it's not copying it, it's replicating. So they're all very slightly different. So it's calculating with these two numbers next to it each time. Again, pause the video, put in that first formula, so it's going to be equals, click on C2, minus, click on B2, press enter. Then go back up and use the replicator to replicate that formula. So pause the video and go and do that now. Once we've got all of our profits sorted, now we're going to go into the number sold today. So on this, we're just going to make the numbers up. So let's say 60 of those sandwiches, maybe 15 of these, and just type in two-figure numbers each time. So all we're doing is just typing in a series of two-figure numbers. I typed in a one-figure number there. Let's change that to 25. Again, pause the video, type in your two-figure numbers. So that means all of our numbers are between 10 and 99. Put those in and then come back. So once you've done that, now we need to look at today's profit. So this first one's fairly easy. If we make £1 on every single cheese sandwich that we sell, and if during the entire day we sell 60 of them, we're going to make £60. Now the hard bit is telling the computer how to do that. So we're going to say it equals the profit, so click on that, so we get D2, then times, and remember for times we use the asterisk, the star. So depending on your keyboard, it might be at the top of the number pad, otherwise you need to hold down Shift and 8. If you're on something like an iPad, then you need to click in the bottom corner of your keyboard, one with the numbers on, and hopefully then you should get your symbols up. So we've got D2 times E2. Press enter, and just like we worked out, it comes to £60. We're not going to let the computer autofill for us. So we're going to go back up there, and we are then going to replicate all the way down to here, and then click somewhere else. Again now, pause the video, sort out your profit at the top. So if I double click on that, we've got D2 times E2, and then we're going to go back up and we're going to replicate. So pause the video and do that now, please. Next part, we don't actually have to do. If some people are taking a little bit longer to type in their numbers, that's fine. But you've finished, then you can do this next section. Don't do this next section if everybody else is here. We can always come back and do it later. So a little bit like last week when we were doing the formatting, the coloring of the text, we're going to do something similar here. So remember, every time we're highlighting, we click and do not let go, and we highlight across what we want there. So all of our titles, I'm going to make those bold. Click somewhere else, then I'm going to go back into A1, and I'm going to highlight everything that we've used. And then here in our formatting tools, this one that looks a little bit like a 4-pane window, we're going to click that for borders, and we're going to pick the one that looks like a 4-pane window that says all borders. So it puts those grid lines along there. Yeah. Now, if you still have a little bit of time there and you want to do, you could highlight here, use the bucket tool there, the fill color. Make sure you use very light colors because we need our black text to show up. But we could do that, and we could go across the top just the same with those. Don't touch the numbers on here. We just want the numbers to be fairly plain at the moment, but you can highlight and color those. So hopefully now everybody is caught up on getting all of their numbers in. So now we're going to use the spreadsheet to do some charts so that we can have a look at which sandwiches are the most popular, which ones are selling the best, and so on. First thing we're going to do, remember again about highlighting, we go into the middle of the cell. Don't go around the edges. We click and don't let go, and we highlight all of those. So now we need to hold down the Control key, and we're going to highlight profit. So we're starting in that box that says profit and down. Then we can let go of the Control key. If you don't hold down Control, then you end up doing this. Look, you highlight that, and then it highlights that, and you just end up doing it forever. So highlight that without touching anything, hold down the Control key, and highlight down there. So the Control key is bottom left of your keyboard, CTRL. Once we've got those, we're then going to go to Insert, and we're going to insert a chart. And this chart then, I'm going to have to zoom out again here, so let's go back now to 100%. So this chart then shows us the profit from each of our different sandwiches. That's not the chart that I want though, so I'm going to just click on this area near the top. And over here now we've got a pop-up that says chart type. So we're going to change that one now from column chart, and we're going to go down to a pie chart. We shouldn't need to resize that. So again, you see when I put my mouse there where the title is, I get that box. Don't click there then. Same with all of these. So find somewhere on the edges where there's nothing there, and we just drag that underneath. So again, pause the video, rewind it if you have to do, and what you're going to do is highlight the sandwiches, hold down Control, highlight the profit, and we're going Insert Chart. And once we've got our chart over there on the right, you will get a pop-up, and we're going to change it to a pie chart. Once you've got your pie chart, now we're going to do one more chart here. So again, we're going to go to the top where it says sandwich, and we're going to highlight all of the sandwiches. Then we're going to hold down Control, and we're going to highlight the last column for today's profit. So we let go of the mouse first, then we let go of the Control key. We're going to insert a chart just like before, and this time we are going to leave it as a column chart. So I'm just going to get hold of that and just move it down here a little bit. If this starts getting in the way, just go to the other corner and move it over there, and then we can click somewhere else, and we've got our page with our two charts underneath it. Go up to cell H1 and put in your own name and class there. Finally, once you've done this, you've got sandwich shop up there, you've got your name on here. So what you need to do now is go back to Google and go onto your email. So I'm going to close down the tab here for the sandwich shop. I'm going to go back into Google, and I'm going to bring up my email. So once we've got back to Google, we're going to go up to our Gmail. We're going to go over here and we're going to click Compose. Now you need to put in the email address to send this to your teacher. Those are on the website, or your teacher will tell you what those are. Our subject is going to be sandwich shop. And then what we need to do is we need to attach that spreadsheet that we just made. So down here at the bottom, see this one that's like a rounded triangle, which is the symbol for our Google Drive. So we click that. Make sure we're on My Drive. There it is, look, sandwich shop. So we just click it once, and then we just click Insert, and it puts it in there. So it might not be a bad idea after sandwich shop to put your name and class. And then you click send, so that gets sent to your teacher. Once you've sent the work off to your teacher, if you've got some time left, then there's an extension task here for you to show that you've actually understood everything that you've done in this lesson. So the first thing you need to do from Google is go up to Google Apps, load up Sheets. And we can see the one that we just did there. We're going to go back to a blank sheet, and this time we're going to do this for a pie shop. So let's go to Untitled Spreadsheet. So this time it's going to be whichever type of pie it is. So we can shorten these down a bit this time. We can put the cost, the selling price, and the profit. And we'll stop at that stage for this one. You can always add on number sold and today's profit, but let's just focus on these parts here. And then just make up the pies or pasties or whichever that you want to do. So again, if we try and get 10 of those in there, make up the costs. Don't forget to format the number as British pound sterlings, and you need to do that for the selling price as well. Make up your costs, make up your selling price, and then calculate the profit. So the profit is always going to be the selling price take away the cost. So put all those together. If you've got a little bit of time, maybe do a bar chart. Put all those together. If you've still got a little bit of time, then try putting together a bar chart showing the amount of profit made for each of those pies.